One thing. Why? Let's just do this.
No, what were you gonna say?
Why do people wear their mask outside? Like, I seen a person just walking wearing their mask over their face. Isn't that uncomfortable?
Yeah, no, it doesn't really make sense unless you're in like a place where you could be like,
Close, yeah.
you know, like when I go outside and like I go for like long rides on my bike, you know, like all the time. I do it all the time. I never wear a mask because out there, like I'm distanced. You know what I mean? Like I shouldn't be I shouldn't be able to get anybody's fluids anyway. I'm not in the fluid range.
You said fluids. Why did you say fluid?
Because that's what it is. That's why you wear the mask in the
Oh,
first
you
place.
said fluid. That sounds...
Fluids.
Oh, that's so gross. I just thought of the grossest thing ever. You said fluids. Yeah, I get that.
It's a fluid.
But it's so uncomfortable. Why are you wearing it? I swear people just wear it because
they do.
It doesn't bother them. It bothers me just worse.
It does suck. Yeah, I don't like it.
I don't want to smell my hot breath.
Yeah, no, it's gross. Yeah.
Like, I can barely hold it over, like, my nose, like, even when I'm inside a place.
Yeah. Yeah.
You agree?
Oh, I totally agree.
Okay.
I wear it because I feel like, you know, it's the least we can do, you know, to help try and stop the spread. Yeah, that too. And it's a law.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I don't think anybody likes it. And if anybody does, they're fucking lying.
I need to find for somebody that's like, yeah, it's cool. I just like wearing a mask over my face.
It does seem that people do that.
Like in their cars?
Yeah. That's what I don't understand. Sometimes I admit I'll get in my car and drive a little bit because I forgot that I had it on.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'll go to the store and I had it on. But like as soon as I remember, I'm taking that shit off.
I'm never like just gonna leave it on my face. I don't know. That's just me.
It makes no sense in the car. You're by yourself. Or if you aren't, then you're by somebody, you know, you're with somebody who you're going to be, like, close to anyway. You know, most of the time. Probably.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense.
Welcome to the Preferred Dimensions podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy.
And I'm Andrew. Andy. He hates that name.
Because you're not Andy.
I'm not Drew. That's what I'm not. So
definitely not Drew. But you're more of a Drew than an Andy.
I hate you so much.
I swear
We're like hating each other today. You know, because I texted him and I was like, I'm going to keep it 100 as a joke. And he gets mad because I made the joke. It's a joke.
No, you use the emoji.
I use the emoji because that's part of the joke. It's part of the shit.
It's cringe.
It is cringe. That's why I did it.
It's still cringe, man.
And
that's too much cringe.
We're pissed. We're cranky today.
You came in here all low energy. You're like, oh.
I am cranky. I don't know why.
He sneezed in my water.
I said I could have sneezed in your water, and I stopped myself.
He put his fluids in it.
Now you don't have a problem with fluids. Now suddenly fluids is okay to say, guys. Fluid.
No. It's okay to say fluids, but the way you said it was disgusting. It's like, I don't want to get my fluids.
Because that's why we wear the mask, bro.
Why? Just say diseases or... You don't say fluids.
The fluid has the disease in it. That's the problem.
Are you a scientist? Like, what's going on?
I've read articles.
Yeah, on Wikipedia.
Yes.
Alright, what are we talking about today?
So today, we are going to cover the topic of selling out. Some examples of people who have, quote-unquote, sold out. What it means to sell out. Is it possible to sell out? That sort of thing. So...
today's video is sponsored by
Charmin.
Charmin.
Bears Ultra? That love ass wiping.
Yes. I love these commercials, by the way.
They make me so uncomfortable.
Yes.
They really love it. They love shitting. A lot.
But they have the cleanest assholes because
they
never
must, dirty. Right?
Yes.
They better.
Anyways, I'm just joking. I'm doing it because, you know.
Yeah.
I shouldn't.
We are not affiliated with Charmin.
Nothing.
Please don't sue us. We think people watch this.
Hey, I watch it.
We watch it. We watch our own.
Anyways,
selling out.
Anyway, selling out.
Selling out.
What is selling out? What's the definition of selling out?
The definition, yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're just going to kind of like say what we think the definition of selling out is. So, I've kind of thought about this a lot and tried to think about where exactly the point is, where like if a person has made success off of their, like, I'm thinking like creative work, mostly, right? Like,
because if you're a businessman, that's your job is to
sell out. Yeah. So this is more like in an art's sake, like when you're an artist or a creative person of any kind. You know, that is what we're focusing on. So for me, I define selling out, and this is not like me, like what I think like is selling out personally, but what I think everybody else thinks is selling out, right?
Yeah.
So this is what I think the collective idea
overall definition
of selling out is. I think it's when an artist, they no longer primarily make the work that they do for artistic or creative purposes. They make it primarily to make money.
Mm-hmm.
That is what I would say selling out is. Not that they don't do, not that it's still not creative, not that they don't still try to innovate, but they mostly do it for the money. That's what I think selling out is as in the zeitgeist. So that's my definition.
I agree with that definition. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty clear cut. Yeah. We just had to establish what it was first.
Yeah.
But what is your definition of it? Is it the same or is it a little different? Mine is just a little bit of extra, just like one word extra.
I'm thinking that like my personal definition of selling out is pretty similar. Like if I had to think about if that was a possible thing to happen, which I'm still on the fence about, and we'll get into that, later in the episode, but I'm not sure if it's even really possible to sell out, I'm still on the fence about it, but I would still agree with probably what the zeitgeist is. If that's what selling out is, I would agree that that's probably the criteria to be selling out, is to be doing it primarily to make money.
Now, my definition would be just that. Just saying unnecessary selling out. Like you sell out, you change your look or your artistic, work unnecessarily for money. So, say you already have money, you already made a whole bunch of money, or you're doing good for yourself, and you do it unnecessarily, devalue your work. I feel like that's when it's bad.
Yeah,
that's
definitely when it's most
it's like greed to me.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really think of an example right now. Well, I have a couple examples of people just selling out, I think.
Okay.
When it's
so people
bad.
that you think actually did sell out.
Yeah, I have a couple that I feel like it was unnecessary or it was just so egregious.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, I think I've come around. When I was younger, I felt like if you change your look or just do it for money, I was like, no, I'm not listening to you anymore. Or I was like, oh, you got to do it just exactly. You can't be mainstream.
Yeah.
But I don't feel that way anymore because people have to bills, man. You don't understand. Until you're a certain age, you gotta pay your bills and you gotta be secure with your life. Think about your future generations, your kids, your family. And I get why people do that. They change it up. But I feel like you go against so much of your principles, and once you say once I'll never sell out, and then you do. I feel like that's a huge sellout. But even worse is when you do it when you already have money. And you're already set, and you do it even worse. You go deeper down the black hole and you just... It's terrible.
Some things are coming to mind, some people.
What do you think?
Yeah, no, and this is... I'm glad we're kind of getting into examples. So this is kind of... When I was thinking about what examples of actually selling out are and when people say other people are selling out, two kind of I guess, professions come to mind. The first one would be musicians, which is probably
that's number one
primary example of people who have sold out. And I think the second, the career path would be comedians, to me, that stand out.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, and I think of that in a way comedians who used to do really raunchy stand-up comedy, who end up doing family movies, or they're a host of a game show or something. That's what I think of when I think of selling out too, besides musicians.
You said game show.
Yeah,
Steve Harvey?
Steve Harvey was the first one I thought of.
I forgot. Wow.
Steve Harvey. Howie Mandel, all those motherfuckers.
Howie Mandel.
He was a comedian.
He was?
He was. You probably don't even know it because you know him primarily
Has
from
he ever
being
made a
Deal or No. I don't know.
I thought he was just a...
He's not funny, but he was a comedian. He was a stand-up comedian.
Oh, so thank you. Steve Harvey.
Yeah.
I used to love his... he used to do so great stand-ups.
I've never actually seen his stand-up.
They're not as great as I would say Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Chappelle, that is the definition of not selling out.
Mm-hmm.
He does exactly what he wants,
mm-hmm.
and he still makes money. So it's possible. But Steve Harvey, he used to do like these stand-ups with the King of Comedy. You ever heard of that? With Cedric Entertainment and D.L. Hughley. Like, he would do that, and he had his own TV show. It felt like it was his real self, okay? But then, he made a whole bunch of money from that, but he still sold out. Wait, what do you think?
I don't know. I didn't know if Steve Harvey's, like, I've never seen his stand-up, but I knew he's one of those people who, like, you know, used to do it and now doesn't anymore. Some that came to mind were, like, Eddie Murphy, like, doing like, Dr. Dolittle and Shrek or whatever. Is that more selling out? Yeah. And that's harder, I think, than, like, the game show thing, right? Like, the game show thing is a lot more, to me, like, you're selling out, you're going on this big network, making tons of money, just doing a host job.
He's not really doing anything.
Yeah, and you can't be edgy, you can't be really innovative, you're just kind of, you know, you're just there for entertainment's sake, you know, because they need a personality.
Also, I think that's like a personal thing. Like, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But maybe he enjoys that. But I feel like, if he's like really just doing it for the money, is it really necessary to do that? Because you don't bring, it's no like artistic value to that. Yeah, I mean, hopefully he's having a good time doing it. Like, but with Eddie Murphy, he made so many terrible movies later on in his career. Like, you don't have to do this. You're Eddie Murphy. You probably one of the most high-selling, grossing actors of all time, and you're making, was it Norbit?
Right, Norbit was like probably like the end of Eddie Murphy's like career.
That was like 2006, right?
It was something like that. Yeah, he's not really done anything like since.
That Pluto Nash movie.
Yeah.
Daddy Daycare, but I mean, yeah, so many people have changed, but you know, like I said, the definition. I mean, I gave like a example of Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
Like he's
maintained.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of, I think with Dave Chappelle is a really good example because he kind of like disappeared for a while, and that was like a self-imposed like exile from like the mainstream in comedy. So I wonder if like maybe that had an effect on why he never really sold out either.
I think they were
sold out in our definition, I should say. Now, maybe some people would say he did sell out, but I don't know.
Oh yeah, so if you were talking about like, you're signed to a major label, or you're
that's what I was thinking.
Like TV, like a big TV company, or you're like, no, that's not selling out. You have to get your name out there, and that's a cool thing. I would want to do that, like being on a major label. Just to get your music out there. You can always leave eventually. I know you're signed up to a couple year deal, but I think that's cool.
I think it is too.
At first, once I used to be like, no, just do everything independent, but definitely it makes your life easier, and it's like that's the goal. It's like getting signed to the NFL.
Yeah.
Or the NBA. So
you reach a wider audience when you have more power, you know, at your, like, it's like, I love like indie music and the indie sound and the more underground sound as opposed to the more mainstream pop music sound, right? I do, but you know, if they can take that sound and just put it on a major label, and it helps them get their stuff out there. You know, that was actually the first example I thought of when I thought of selling out. It turns out like what other people have said is like, oh, they sold out. The first band that came to mind was Green Day. Because they were like, when I was a kid, they were huge. Like, I was like middle school, high school, they were my band. You know, like,
so American Idiot.
American Idiot, I loved it. They said American Idiot was a big sellout album, but even like their first major breakthrough album, Dookie, which came out like when I was born, like it was a long time ago, right? But they were independent before that. They were on like this tiny little label in California, and then they got picked up by Warner Brothers, right? Reprise Records. So just like you were talking about, like as soon as they go to a major label, people are like, oh, they sold out. But like they made the same type of music that they were making before then. Yeah,
they have some control. Like just just watch what you do when you sign your contract. Like don't have them like take over like your entire sound, because that happens. But they sounded and they made great music.
I think, yeah.
Like, they made more popular music, but it was still great.
It was.
I think so.
Yeah, I think, like, American Idiot, I think, is one of the best albums ever. It's got, like, a pop sound, sure, or it's actually, it doesn't.
More accessible.
I think it's a rock sound, but
it's more accessible.
Pop melodies, right? It's, they're pop songs with a good, unique sound. Like, you don't hear other pop songs that sound like that.
No.
I don't think. So, for me, like, that wasn't really even selling out. They wanted to try something different, you know? So, for me, like, I was like, that's exactly what an artist should be doing. You know, just because you get big and popular doesn't mean you're sold out. Like even like Nirvana, right? Like they got big with Nevermind. Do you think they sold out? Like they were still making the same weird music that they were making.
And then after that, they went back to now that's like poppier sound of and his
In Utero.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
So, but I thought like this rapper. I used to thought like, oh, he's such a sellout. All he thinks about is money.
Who's that?
Jay-Z. I mean, look. Okay, I used to be like, oh man, forget Jay-Z. He's such a sellout. He just does it for the money. But from the beginning, that's all he's been about.
Yeah.
It's like rap is just like his side hustle. He's a businessman before anything, and I respect that. And like I'm just not realizing this like the last couple of years. Like I gotta respect that because, I mean, like his one album, Holy Grail, whatever, I forgot what it's called. It's a couple of years ago.
Yeah, with Holy Grail. Is that called Holy Grail? Or?
It's something. It's
I know what you're talking about with the song.
Oh, Magna Carta.
Yeah.
It was just basically an ad for Samsung. Like, if you got a Samsung, you got it for free. And that's something Jay-Z would do because he is all about the money.
He's a mogul now.
Yeah, so I'm not like, I will never be like that because I don't care about money like that. I don't want to be like that much money. That's not me.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to realize that. So I once considered him like as a sellout, but he had money before he even started rapping.
Yeah.
Like he's like one of the few rappers that had like money. Like he was all about that. And like his sound, like what he raps about is like what he raps about now. Like
yeah.
It's not really what I like my cup of tea. Like I mean I love a lot of Jay-Z songs, but like a lot of it I don't really listen to. But I have to respect that. That some people are just alike, just about that. He never really changed his message.
Yeah.
He may have changed the sound to more poppy, but that's I think that's just him.
Yeah, and I think that, that's another, like, I think people mistake creative venturing off into different sounds and styles as being selling out. When, like, especially, like, I could say this about most, like, any band or any artist, really, that, like, goes mainstream or gets big, like, their sound often will change, right? And people mistake that sometimes for being a sellout. Do you think that there are any, I should say, artists that, like, you think sold out when they did change their sound or their style? Is there any come to mind for you?
Yep, one.
Who's that?
The Black Eyed Peas.
Oh, that's a good example.
Did you know they had 2 albums? Okay, so you know how they sound now? Like it's more like just dance pop.
Yeah.
It just got progressively worse and worse and worse. Like I can't stand them. The first 2 albums like came out like late 90s. It's basically just like hip hop soul. It's completely different, and I'm pretty sure they had a song making fun of artists that had sold out there. I'm like, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. You're gonna make a song about selling out, and then you change your whole entire persona, sound. It's like that's so frustrating. I didn't know that until like a couple years ago. Did you know that? Like they had like I've
never listened to like any Black Eyed Peas before like 2002.
Exactly. That's when they changed their sound. Like
right. When they got
like,
popular.
Hey Mama or like that. Let's get retarded. Yes, they made a song. Let's get retarded. I find that so funny. But that's the first album. Actually, Fergie, she wasn't part of the group until that album.
Oh really?
Yeah. So they had I forgot her name. They had a female singer. She was more soulful, like R&B singer.
Yeah.
She left the group because it was like a documentary I was watching on her. She left the group because they were trying to go more into the pop sound, mainstream sound, and she left the group. And she said she kind of regrets it because she'd be bigger, but she still she had to be true to herself. And I think that was something like she didn't sell out; they sold out. I feel like I would do. I don't know, man. Like I feel like I would do that, but it's hard. It's a hard pill to swallow because they're so big.
Yeah.
Like you want that fame and success, but at what cost?
Yeah.
And I feel like, Will.i.am. I swear such wasted potential. Because I think he's a great producer. He's done crazy good stuff, but he's all about the money and fame. I think, and it's like it sucks to see that, but that's him now. But I feel like that's the group that's bad selling out.
Yeah, I wonder. To
me.
Yeah, no, I feel like that's a really valid case, and based on the difference, like I haven't listened, but it sounds like based on the difference between their first albums and then like compared to what they became, you know, it sounds like there was.
Listen, just
I
listen
got
to a little bit.
Yeah, because I never heard.
I mean, it's
that,
not like great, but
right, but better than.
Oh yeah.
Then Let's Get Started or whatever. Yeah.
Let's Get Retarded. That's the name of the song.
What do you mean? Like that's
the name of the song. You look at you didn't remember that?
I've never heard it.
They changed it.
I didn't know that.
Look it up.
I've only ever heard "Let's Get It Started."
No. It's the natural thing. Let's Get Retarded. That's the name of the song. It's different times, man.
It was different times. You could not get away with that.
No.
You'd have a legion of people coming after you. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the actual song.
I thought you were just being.
No.
Funny.
I wish I was that funny. I am that funny. I know. I was joking. Let's get started.
I did not know that. But so yeah, I know what you're saying though. Like, it sounds like it was a big difference between then and like their more pop oriented stuff. But then I think that's the thing I kind of wanted to get into as well. Was that ever maybe the goal for them? Do you think? I mean, do you think that maybe like they were trying to? What do you think of like Outkast in terms of selling out?
See, that was the same thing. I was thinking the same thing. Man, see.
Because they come to mind too, because they really changed their sound a lot to a more poppy.
So Outkast has like 4 albums. No, 5 albums. The first 4 albums is just hip hop, straight hip hop. Now Andre 3000 and Big Boy, they're completely different people.
Mm-hmm.
Like they started out like similar, like gangster rap kind of like players, but Andre 3000 he's a completely different guy than Big Boy. Big Boy's gangster, and he's like Andre 2000. He's like out there, like, I think it was 2 different like separate albums, like the Speaker Box and Love Below.
Yeah.
So they separated it.
Yeah.
So Andre 3000, he wanted to do his own thing, and then like Big Boy did more of the traditional. Yeah. Now I think the way he moved, I don't think that's like really a sellout song, because it's very similar to some of their older music. It's more popular, but you don't see Andre on there because that's not his sound anymore. And like Andre 2000, he did like there's some weird songs on there.
Yeah.
And I think that was bold of him, because he could have done it. Like he could have just been like just doing what he was doing, because I don't think that was his real self. So I think that's the opposite of somehow.
I'm glad you said that, because I never really thought of them as selling out. Because I was wondering if maybe the same logic would apply to Black Eyed Peas, is what I was kind of getting towards. Like, I wonder if like maybe that was always the goal for like both those artists. Like maybe Andre was always gonna be like, you know, I want to try like adding an acoustic guitar and putting Norah Jones on this fucking song, right? Yeah. Like it's something that's different than what he was doing. And I wonder if maybe Black Eyed Peas were always like, maybe there was the room for this. And that was just the moment where they like realized that they got these producers that held us money. They got this record company. Maybe that's, you know, I wonder. I mean, I don't think the Black Eyed Peas music was. I think Outkast, they did a lot more like, it was a lot more credible, I should say, than I think like Let's Get Retarded. Right? Yeah. Like, I think Outkast, like, even if you don't like Hey Ya, I think if you never heard Hey Ya a million times, it would have been a good song. Like,
I still love that song.
It's good. I think it's actually a really good song.
I think so.
It's catchy, you know, and it's cool.
It's better than what the Black Eyed Peas make.
Right, exactly. Yeah. It is. It has a good sound to it. It's got like a kind of old traditional sound. I think like he really started to explore stuff like that too. Like, what was the roots of this music? Where did it come from? And how do I implement it in what I'm doing? No, that's cool. Like, I think.
Well, the sound was, it doesn't make any, I guess, the sound that they had, like the soulful, like jazz rap of that, I guess it wasn't really of that time. Like, during that time in the late 90s, it was more like, bling, like, very, like the P. Diddy stuff, like Puff Daddy, like, it's more like, flashy. So they're really going against the grain. So if you think that was it, I think they will try to go with what's trendy back then. I think they wanted to be different and like be soulful, like that's what the sound they wanted. But maybe they realized it wasn't working, and they went that route, like a more poppy. Maybe. So I don't think so. And I'm pretty sure will.i.am is like the leader, and then maybe he wanted that all along, but like some members of the group wasn't with that.
Yeah.
So maybe it was his goal.
Right. That's something too, is that like when you have those like groups like that, it's really hard to have a unified vision with everybody with like different ideas, especially when you got somebody like will.i.am who's like producer and a rapper and all that stuff, and he's probably got he's got ideas in mind that aren't necessarily what everybody else wanted.
I mean, if somebody left the group, like they didn't kick her out, she left.
Right.
So I feel like, yeah. So maybe that was like their goal or something. So, but. They were making fun of like people selling out. So that's strange. Like it was only like a couple year gap.
Yeah.
And they were popular like somewhat, but I think they wanted to go to the next level, I guess.
Yeah.
And I want to like for me, I think it's a very personal thing. What do you consider selling out? You just want to make money and like be popular. Like go ahead, but that's not me. I want to be popular and successful, but doing it what I like to do. Like for me, like selling out like would be like making a YouTube video, like one of those prank videos. Like I hate those, like those fake prank videos. If I feel like if I'm doing fake pranks and I get successful for it, I will feel bad for it because I didn't do it. Like I didn't feel good doing it. That's what I think is selling out for me. It's very personal. What do you think about that? Like being popular from something that you're not proud of.
That's something I've always like wondered, like because I've always thought about like I wanted to be like a writer, and like I always wanted to like the stuff that I made, and then like there was one time like a couple years ago where I was just sitting around like I was not going anywhere as a writer. I'm still not, but the point is like I was like, man, should I just start writing shit that I hate? Because I feel like that's what's getting picked up by like movie studios.
Are you talking about
scripts and books, like, and then like and by publishers, like they want like those crime stories that are like realistic crime stories where a woman gets kidnapped, like that's very what popular. Gets popular. And I was like, man, maybe I should just write something stupid like that, something about some dumb serial killer.
I mean, make it good though.
But can I, at that point, and still do like?
Yeah, you're not into it.
Yeah, but the point was, I did consider it. I did consider making something I knew I would hate because I thought I would be able to make some money. And then, like, I thought, okay, well, let's say I write this shitty crime novel, right? And I make so much money off of it because it's so popular. Then I have the money to be able to do whatever I want. And that was kind of my thinking was, do I sell out as like a gateway into artistic freedom?
I think that's not selling out. If you stay on that path and just do that just for the money and success, I think that's selling out. Because you gotta get your foot in the door sometimes.
Yeah.
And that sucks, but that's just the way of life. Like you're not gonna get anywhere if you just keep on doing the same thing over and over again. It doesn't work. That's the definition of insanity. Cause like example, the highest viewed YouTube video for me is doing a reaction video to E3. Like I hate when people just do reaction videos, but I mean like my Justin, he wanted to do it. I was like, okay, whatever, do it. And it was like one of the biggest announcements of E3 ever, and it got like 22,000 views. Or even more. I have nothing even close to that, but it's what's popular, and I don't really enjoy it. But I understand doing that type of stuff to get like an audience.
Yeah,
you gotta get an audience first sometimes, and then doing what you want to do. I understand that.
Is it like?
But it sucks, kind of.
Is that possible though? Like, let's say like you do that, you make this reaction video, and you get like popular because of it, But then your audience is like, well, I'm watching this guy for those reaction videos.
Yeah. See, yeah.
So it's kind of like a twofold thing, but it's like that's another thing too. I thought about. It's like, maybe if I but if you have enough money, if you make money off of doing that, sellout thing or whatever,
don't worry about it anymore.
Then you don't have to worry about whether you got that audience because you might be able to find new audiences. If you're out there and you have like a presence and you're known and you start doing something different, you might find other people who never heard of you check you out.
But you'll be known for that.
Yeah,
like that
thing too.
Like it could be like the most embarrassing thing. Like you could be like become a meme. Like you do a
Yeah.
dumb video or like just
Yeah.
like that one book, that one movie you could be known for. It can haunt you, even though you've done years of like better work.
Yeah.
And that's like I think that's hell.
Yeah. No, it is.
I mean, but
Do you think there's any real like people that come to mind or like movie? You brought up movies, and I wonder if like anybody's made a movie so bad that they've been unable to like ever make a good movie after that. I think M. Night Shyamalan comes to mind, but he made some really good movies before he made bad ones. So I don't know if that really counts. But,
I mean that one movie, what's that with the superheroes?
Which one?
With Samuel L. Jackson.
Unbreakable.
Yeah, but the sequel to that.
Glass. There was like Split. And
Yeah,
Glass.
Split. Like
Yeah.
that was okay, like decent, but like his movies before that were so terrible. So I
Yeah.
think he just hit and miss.
Yeah, some directors are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think of. I can't really think of movie directors or actors because like Adam Sandler, he's been making terrible movies for like a decade straight.
Would you call him a sellout?
Oh, he's the biggest sellout. He's
But I
the
mean,
biggest sellout, but he's made a good movie. He made Uncut Gems is a good movie.
Yeah, I've heard it's really good.
Oh, it's good. It was
Yeah.
good. You gotta watch that. And he's
But here's my thing.
the biggest sellout ever because he can do better. He goes on vacation with his friends and just makes a movie on the side. I swear he does.
It does feel the way.
That's grown ups in a nutshell.
Yeah, yeah.
That movie is fucking terrible.
I've never watched all the way through.
It's just a joke. Oh, they're just joking around. Like it's not even a script. It's like them making dick jokes the whole entire time, making fun of Kevin James and Rob Schneider. Like I hate Adam Sandler. We gotta do an Adam Sandler episode
review.
Review every Adam Sandler movie.
But that's what I wanted to kind of get into.
But
like,
let's get away from Adam
well, I
Sandler.
want to talk about him for a second because it's like, you're saying he's the biggest sellout ever, right?
Mhm.
But if you look at all those shit, even grown-ups, right, and all the dumb jokes in that, it's literally like the same humor, the same toilet bowl humor that he made in like The Waterboy, which most people like. You know, or like Happy Gilmore, like his first couple Happy Madison movies. Like, there's the same guy. It's the same humor. Did he really sell out if he's always been that way?
Wow, yeah. Maybe it's just nostalgia.
I wonder if that's part of it. If we think that like things were better back then because
It could be. I
Because
can't really retort that because I think those movies. I mean, the newer movies are worse.
I mean, I think so too.
Yeah, but
I like
Man,
the last movie I watched was probably Click when that came out. That was like 2006. I was like 13. I was like, this is hilarious, you know. And then after that, I was like, I don't think I watched a single Adam Sandler movie.
Oh, man.
Because even like a 14-year-old me was like, fuck, this guy sucks. You know?
he didn't. Okay, so his newer movies, he just doesn't feel like relatable.
Yeah.
In those movies, he felt more relatable. I don't know. I think because he didn't mature. Like, his movies didn't mature.
Yeah.
Like, it's more understandable when he's, like, 25 or something like that, making those type of movies. But he's, like, 40-something, making the same, like,
Yeah.
so I think that's why
Maybe.
he just gotten so lazy.
That's what I was thinking.
His
It's like,
laziness.
he looks like he's not trying.
He's not.
He's not trying to make a good
How
movie
can
or a
you
funny movie. He's just making fart jokes and fat jokes
He's
again.
not.
You know?
And, just...
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it because this is all we're going to talk about.
Yeah. Enough Adam
There's so
Sandler.
much
But I just
I
wanted
hate
to
in
make
Adam
that
Sandler
point.
movies. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
You got any more artists that...
Examples?
Yeah.
I kind of just thought of like Green Day was the biggest one that came to mind, but you could apply it to almost any band that ever gets on a major label. Even I think people said the same thing about the White Stripes when they did a bunch of albums independently,
Mhm.
like their whole career until like their last album was done. It was like distributed by Warner Brothers, and I think people said the same thing, like, oh, they're selling out because Warner Brothers is distributing it, but they still sound the fucking same. You know, if their sound is still that like indie, you know, DIY sound, how can you say this is selling out?
Just have more, like, tools to just dispose of.
Exactly.
Like, they're more producers.
Yeah.
Better sound, like instruments, like, more time. I don't understand that. I don't understand. I used to think that way, but I've grown and realized it's better for them most of the time. Sometimes they make restrictions for it, but most of the time they're fine.
Yeah, I hate to bring this example because the product ended up being pretty shitty.
But
But I don't really think George Lucas sold out when he gave Lucasfilm to Disney either. I don't.
I don't think he sold out either.
Because I think he like had those properties.
People sold out.
People think he sold out.
Wait, when did he sell it?
It was before the new movies came out, but I think it was around like 2013 or something.
Oh, is that recent?
Yeah, because he owned that company for the longest time, and then he sold it to Disney like a year or two before they started making new Star Wars movies. And I'm not saying those movies are good. Like, they're really the last Star Wars movie was one of the worst pieces of shit I've ever seen. Hated it. But the point is, I don't really think he was selling out at that point, even though he was selling his company. I think he was like, he had his ideas and they kind of turned him down, but at the same time, I think he was just kind of like, whatever. They'll do something with these properties. I'm getting older, maybe I'm not as...
What has he had? What's he made other than Star Wars?
What do you mean?
What is George Lucas? What has he made other than Star Wars?
Oh, Indiana Jones and
he didn't make Indiana Jones.
Yeah, he did.
That was
Spielberg. No, but he produced it. George Lucas. I think
George Lucas produced it, right?
I think so. Yeah.
He produced it. Okay.
What did he make? Co-produced
it
with Spielberg.
Hold on. What did he make without Spielberg?
I think that's a good point. No, he hasn't made, and you know what? Since Star Wars, other than Star Wars, he didn't make much. But I think he kind of did it like I saw it as like, okay, if I'm gonna give my company to this mega company with money, they might be able to make it, enhance it, like you were saying, like that you enhance the production quality of. Although Disney's kind of now that I think about it, and I see that final product, I kind of maybe I should take back what I just said.
They're
because
milking it, man.
they are, and they're kind of ruining franchises, and they're kind of like like a giant. Like if you look at even all the Marvel movies that directors would like leave in the middle of, like you know who Edgar Wright is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was supposed to make Ant-Man. For Marvel, and he left midway through because Marvel's like the big creative, they have control everything continuity wise, they control story, everything. So they were so he left.
That is too much.
Yeah,
that is way too much. But I'm not surprised by Disney. But I don't think he sold out because what he was doing with the franchise, he wasn't doing
anything.
Yeah, so
yeah. He was like, well, at least this company...
I'm glad he sold it.
Yeah. So technically he sold it, but did he sell out in the definition that we were making?
No. Oh,
I don't think so.
So when people the guy who made Minecraft. There's one guy that made Minecraft. It's like the best-selling video game.
Yeah, I know Minecraft. I know of it.
Yeah, like the guy, I forgot his name. He sold it to Microsoft. I don't think that's selling out. Because you know how much money he made from that? It probably made close to 500 million, I think. And he made that, and then he should be proud of it. Sell it off.
Yeah.
And just make something else.
And that's
I don't think that's selling out at all.
I don't think so either. I think that's capitalizing on something that you already had that was
you made it.
A really good thing, right? Like if you did something that's awesome like that and you did that independently, and some companies I want to pay you $1 billion to have this great idea.
One of the biggest companies of all time.
Right. Would you call an inventor a sellout if they're like, hey, I just invented this new thing that allows you to fly with your shoes? Or, I don't know, just making shit up. Right. It's awesome. You're like, I want that. These companies are like, I want that. So why is that selling out? No. I feel like you can apply the same logic to an artist. If they got something that's a really good work, and companies are like, I want to pay you $1 billion to make a movie out of this. Is that selling out? I don't know. I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
Right. I think the point where you're selling out is kind of what we're trying to get at. Is selling out is when you're doing it just to make money. When you know that you've not really you've lost the credibility that piece of work had, that made it special, and you just devoted all your attention to how can this make me more money.
And you don't really know what is going on in people's heads. They can say one thing and really be doing another. So it's really just up to the individual what they consider as selling out, because I have my definition, you do, and it's just up to them. I feel like, because Adam Sandler might think he's the greatest movie star of all time. He might think that. He might. But he could just be I'm just making all this money for my family.
You know, I just
and
thought
that's cool.
Another really big example of selling out, I guess, would be like movie sequels.
Oh yeah, sequels.
But a lot of times those sequels aren't done by the same director though. A lot of times it's just the studio's like, we're gonna capitalize on this, and then the director that had that vision leaves.
That's not selling. That's just studios being studios.
Yeah.
So like,
but if a director stayed, do you think that would be a sellout kind of thing? If he like makes a movie,
if they didn't want to do it,
they didn't want to do a sequel.
Yeah. I gotta think of it. I don't know any examples really, like good examples, but I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah.
It just depends.
Yeah, I think I know the Avengers guy, like who did the first Avengers movie, and like I know he didn't really want to do the sequel, and like
sequel was not good, right?
Well, the second Avengers is pretty Age of Ultron.
Yeah, I didn't really like that. I didn't start liking the Avengers until like the last one.
Yeah, the last two were
really good. Couple.
Yeah, the last two were really good, but before then, you could definitely tell that guy was not.
Yeah,
it was off.
Yeah, so but I think that's just mostly. Yeah, that's kind of.
But he did it anyway.
He did it anyway. Maybe he was like under contract. I don't know.
Yeah, he might have been. Yeah.
Like so, there's just one. Okay, so Eminem.
Oh my god.
That was my guy when I was very young. He made what he said and did whatever he wanted, and like he was with Dr. Dre, like one of the biggest producers of all time. But he still like stuff, man. Just go listen back what he used to say. And I respect that. Like that's why I think I'm just like I'm not PC at all. Like I say and do whatever I want, and then he was straight up hip hop. Like he's all about like battle raps and like being pure, but like once like he had made Recovery, after all that he's just started making more pop sounds. Like he had Rihanna, like those dumb two Rihanna songs, and like so much like more poppy sound that I absolutely lost respect for him, and I don't understand that. I don't understand why he did that, because back then he was super popular. He was I don't think he was more popular than he is now, because he's like one of the highest selling of all time. But he used to be like just straight up hip hop, and like now he just makes it's like a requirement to have a crappy pop song with a terrible female singer.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! And
do you wonder if it's like him getting older has an impact on that? I've wondered that too with Eminem, especially. Like it could be selling out. It could be that he wants to make more money, but I don't even think it. I think he's got so much. He's got more money. He's never gonna use all the money he has.
Mm-hmm.
Is he maybe just at the point in his career where he's just older? And I think about this a lot of artists who have sold out like at some point. Like let's say they started to make it big and then like Fall Out Boy or whatever. You know, is it that they sold out, or they're still trying to make a lot of money, or they just don't care anymore? Maybe they're uninspired.
I think he's just uninspired. Like,
yeah.
Or I just don't think he's like. He's not really a good like songwriter.
Oh, not at all.
Yeah, he's good. He is like in the beginning, like you have so much ideas in the beginning of your career, and like he's like young and like he's like hungry, but now like all he has like he's probably the greatest like just pure rapper, like battle rapper, but like it's different from songwriting, like actually making albums, and he doesn't know what he's doing.
No.
So obviously. Like he has to rely on that, like what's trendy, and like I don't know, I just lost respect for that, and maybe he's just not what I thought he was.
Yeah, no,
I seen him in one light, and then he just changed it to something different.
That makes a lot of sense. I think something I wonder with a lot of artists, but him in particular, because he he used to be manic, like crazy, and that's why I think for me it's like I wonder if he just chilled out.
Yeah,
and I think there comes
maybe
a point
it's for
where
better.
Yeah. But what do you do, I guess, if you're an artist, like, I guess, like, Eminem, probably, if he never made another album, he'd be okay, like, he would have enough money to feed his children and that sort of thing. He made enough money, you know what I mean?
No, but he enjoys it, though. He enjoys rapping. Like, he's about it. Like, he's about it, like, he loves it like I do, but he still makes those pop songs. Like,
yeah. I
guess that's just my personal opinion, and he just doesn't care. But he's just talking about like all the real rap shit. But you have that like garbage on you. Like, I don't. Yeah. It's just like contradicting.
It is, yeah.
But like I think his last, I can't remember what his. Yeah, he had that kind of stuff on there.
They did.
I think he just makes bad decisions. Maybe he's just terrible at making decisions on like songs and who's gonna be on your songs and like choruses. Maybe he's just getting worse.
I think he is. I think he's, he's getting older. I think a lot of it has to do with uninspiration too. Like when you listen to music that has like the most impact and it seems the most real, like his first couple albums, like he was fucked up. And like he was very angry, and he didn't really like, he was trying to cope with all these emotions. And now he's like an older guy, doesn't have as much going on. He's beat addiction now. Like,
yeah,
what does he really have? It's like, and I hate to say that like it's this hard, dark stuff that makes these artists better, but a lot of times it was that's what was inspiring him. So if that's not inspiring him anymore, it's like he hasn't found that new source of inspiration to like take him,
I think.
And inspire something that actually makes you think, oh wow, this is cool.
I think it just makes me mad because people like defend him like he just makes
they do
such great music, and it's really not.
No, he's like a great rapper.
Yeah, man.
But he's making some shit music.
Yeah, it's different. Like people don't understand that.
Yeah. Just
because you're a great lyricist doesn't mean it translates into an album or an actual song. I mean, he still makes like some great songs, but he hasn't evolved, and I feel like he's stuck in his ways, and I feel like it's just detrimental to his music.
Yeah, his time came and went.
Yeah, and it's like I thought he was like, oh, like the rap god, like he said it, but it's just not. It's like I cringe when I think of fucking. I think it's like for some reason I think of Kid Rock and Eminem saying like I don't know why I think of that.
I mean,
why am I thinking like that?
Yeah, because Kid Rock was never good. Kid Rock was always what Eminem is now.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Maybe that's why you think of loop them together, because now they're kind of like the same sort of thing. I've never listened to Kid Rock.
I don't know why I think of it. Like I think they go to like a similar crowd.
Yeah,
like, I feel like Eminem's trying to reach for that, or he. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know. It makes me mad. It makes me sad.
I think he's well past his prime. I think it happens to a lot of people who don't retire or die. It kind of like they want to keep making music, and I understand. Like if it was my craft, and like if I made a lot of money off of it, and I did really good at it for a long time, and it was something I enjoyed, I'd want to keep doing it. I wouldn't want to stop my career. You really can't, right? I mean, you could make a lot of money, so much money that I think Eminem probably did. Or, like I said, he probably would have been fine financially for the rest of his life, So he didn't have to make the music to make money to live, right? But I think it was more about what you said. He probably just really liked rapping, really wanted to stay. He's always been regarded as one of the best rappers ever. I think you need also that reassurance that you are, not that you were just this moment in time, but that you actually are this thing still in your mid-40s,
I just want him to evolve his music, like with Tyler, the Creator. I think of
Tyler has changed a lot.
Yeah, Tyler. I think Tyler, he used similar to Eminem. Like he's obviously inspired by him. Like the really edgy lyrics, like dark as possible. But like this last album was a straight up like R&B, like funk, like just soulful breakup album from Tyler, the Creator. Like listen to his first albums to now, and it's a great album, I think. So that's what I wanted to see in Eminem, like him to try more. I just don't think he has the ability, or he doesn't have like the producers, the right people behind him, and he's just stuck in his ways. I think I'm just more disappointed in him than selling out.
Yeah. No, he did kind of sell out though. He does sell out in a way, I think, because like you said, he's trying to reach like the more generic audiences that don't need him to be like crazy or whatever. They just need him to rap well, and that's all they care about. And I guess he still technically is a good rapper, but like you said, the music is garbage. Yeah. He sound like he's got that creative ability, like he's really good at making rhymes and stuff. But yeah, he's corny. It's corny and it's kind of cringy, and I'm just like, it's like dad rap.
Yeah, and people defend it. I don't get it. I don't know. A lot of people are gonna be mad because I'm saying this.
You know what I'm thinking though too, on the lines of like dad rap or whatever. Same kind of thing I was talking about. I think Eminem's older. He's less inspired. Like Tyler, the Creator, is still very young. He started off very young. He was like 19 when he did his first album, so he's still like in his 20s or maybe early 30s now at this point. I don't remember.
Probably late 20s. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's still like a young guy making this music. So that's another thing too. Like Eminem's like, you know, twice his age. You know, so it's like he's at the point in his life where he's kind of done like getting that new experience, and he has less energy. When you have more, when you're younger, you got more energy, more creative energy, all kinds of, so.
A lot of more ideas, yeah.
That's why people say it's your prime. It's like your 20s and 30s, and then after that, you're kind of like.
30s.
We are running out of time.
That's scary.
The clock is against us, my friend. Yeah.
I'm running out of energy. Just making shitty YouTube videos.
Like this
podcast. No, you got anybody else? I have one more person I want to talk about.
Who? Who is it? Go ahead.
Ice Cube.
Oh, he totally sold out.
He sold out so bad.
Yeah.
I love Ice Cube. Like, you ever listen to like his old stuff?
Like
his
right after he
old
broke
stuff.
up with NWA. Yeah.
Yeah, NWA.
Yeah.
The most just like fuck the police, like fuck them hoes, sell drugs, all that. Fuck the white man, all that.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure he was racist. Like some racist stuff back there. He should be canceled, but you know we're not going to do that to Ice Cube. Anyways, but now and I swear he said I will never be like in like after he did Bad Boys, not Bad Boys, but that's
Fridays, right?
Friday and Boys in the Hood.
Yeah. Like
movies, he wouldn't do like action adventure. He did this in an interview. He said, "I want to do like action adventure movies or like family view movies." He said this in an interview, and then he does like a whole bunch of like, "Oh, are we there yet?" And like he's like in that the Triple X movie. Like he's an action star all of a sudden. Like, come on, man. He sold out so bad, but look, I'm not feeling like some type of way against him because it's like whatever. I still have his old stuff, but don't be acting like that, like all gangster, and then come back to like family movies. Like, what are you gonna do? Because the stuff he said back then, go look back.
Oh, I know. I listened to it.
It's the most extreme stuff.
Yeah, he was very, very aggressive. And NWA was like pioneering in that way. You know, like they were the first, like really, like fuck everybody, fuck white people. Fuck like that was like, it's crazy. It's crazy distinction. Again, like I wonder if it's just he got older. Like one of all these guys, it's when you get older. Is that it? When you start to sell out, or do you think anybody like stays? I guess like David Bowie was pretty much David Bowie's whole career, right? But he was kind of rare in that regard, where like he did where he wanted the whole time. Like very rarely does that happen. You know, you could even say like I was defending Green Day earlier because I think that those instances where people said they sold out weren't the case. But nowadays, I don't know, they make pretty shitty music now. Like it's cringy, it's terrible. Like I don't like them anymore.
I think but like you said, they're just getting older and like that's just how it was back in the day. But man, it's just such a huge shift.
Oh, it's ginormous.
Am I really that different? Oh, well, I guess I'm not as old as them, but I'm not as different when I was like 18, 19 to now. Like, I don't know.
We still have time.
We still have time.
Not hit 30 yet. Once we hit 30, we're gonna be like, we don't need this anymore.
It's just crazy the shit. Like, I don't feel as bad like with Ice Cube. It's like whatever. But like with the Black Eyed Peas, I feel like they sold out.
Yeah, they did.
Big time.
You could say Ice Cube sold out. I think that's a fair, because I guess the question is again like we always like, or I guess in this scenario we were saying that the criteria for selling out, was kind of like, it was the reason I'm doing this, right? Like, so I thought, and so that you agreed, like, for the most part, and then, like, was it necessary? So, I mean, like, if he wanted to make, like, are we there yet? Is that selling out? I don't know. It seems like it to us, right? Because we're like, well, that doesn't line up with what you said, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But, people also do change. He was like 18 when NWA started, right? Like they were young. They were really young. So like maybe
that's why I'm like not that hard on him, but it was just crazy, like this shift.
It is crazy.
And I can't really think of much of like something similar to that.
Yeah.
Cuz like Dr. Dre, he's never really done stuff like that. He was just like a producer.
Yeah. And
now he like the beats, like I feel like that's something he would do. Like own beats is like he made a shit ton of money just from that. So that's like a natural progression. Okay, but it was just a huge shift, so I just wanted to bring that up.
No, I think it's a good example. I really do. I do think it's a good example. I'm just playing devil's advocate because I think it's something we have to analyze. You know, it's like where is that selling out? Can you even sell out? Is it possible? You know,
is it?
That's what I'm wondering now. And more we talk about it, and the more I think about it, I'm like, I keep going back to like, well, maybe that's what they wanted to do. And like maybe I hate it. Like, maybe I hate the type of movies that, you know, Eddie Murphy's making now. But maybe that's exactly what he wanted to do. You know? It's different than his stand-up comedy.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, maybe that's the road he always wanted to take. Or maybe, like, he just changed. Like, you know, when you become a father, too, like, he, you know, had kids. He had a lot of kids, so...
Maybe take care of those kids.
Yeah. And you want to go make movies that your kids can go see, right? That's why, like, Dwayne The Rock Johnson probably did a lot of that stuff, too. Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Okay. A lot of that stuff. He's
The Rock. You just call him The Rock. It's easier.
The Rock, Dwayne Johnson.
That's my hero, all right? My childhood hero. Childhood.
Right.
Not now anymore. Okay.
Wrestling is so stupid.
Huh?
Wrestling is so stupid.
Not back in the day, it wasn't.
I never liked it.
Because you just passed your time. Anyways, what did you saying about The Rock?
He did the same thing. Like, he made a lot of, like, you know, family movies. Like,
I mean, that's the only thing he's really done, though. He's only done, like...
He did action movies, right?
I mean,
and wrestling, even though it was technically kind of for kids, it was more like it less like those things that you would. I don't know.
But back then, it was for more like teenagers.
Right.
Like the
teenage
era
yeah.
that he was in.
Yeah.
But like, I think he's been the same.
He's been mostly the same.
I mean, he hasn't really been
in action movies too. Like he did like Doom, right? And
yeah, I mean, but he's been mostly action and like going from action to like family stuff. Like he hasn't really done.
Yeah.
Like, it's like Denzel doing just straight up family.
I wasn't saying he was selling out. I was only mentioning I think he did what he wanted to do.
That's okay, yeah.
That's why I mentioned him, is I felt like he was doing what he wanted to do at the time. Like, if he wanted to make a family movie, it's because he's got kids. And same with like Eddie Murphy, right? Like, I wonder if, like, maybe he wasn't even really selling out. Maybe he just changed what his goal was, you know, for the moment. Maybe he just wanted to make something that was for kids, you know? And I don't know, is that selling out at that point? To me, it's like, I don't know. I have a hard time saying, like, if somebody, maybe I didn't agree with it, maybe I didn't like it anymore, maybe I thought that what they had done in the prior, like, the heart of it was gone, like, with Eminem, right? Like, the manic, like, edgy, let's take this to the extreme, like, let's push the boundaries of what we accept, right? And what we listen to. Like, to now, it's, like, very safe and boring, right? Like, maybe that's just what he wants to make now.
Yeah. That is true.
The question I keep coming back to is, like, are these guys selling out, or are they just, you know, doing whatever they wanted to do anyway, and they've just changed people?
I think the true definition of selling out for me is just, like I said, it was just unnecessary, and, like, like, the person himself didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Like, and you won't really know that.
Yeah, it's hard to know that.
Like, I know when I sold out, but I can say one thing, like, oh, I did that because I wanted to, but inside of me, I'm like, no, this sucks. Like, I didn't need to do that. I think that's the only way you can sell out. It's within yourself. Like, you're doing it.
Do you think? I'm trying to think if I feel like there have been examples of that, like especially as like movie directors, where like they made a movie and the studio did something to it and butchered it, and they know it's a piece of crap movie.
Well, it's I don't know. Oh, it'd be like unnecessary.
Ryan Reynolds kind of. Well, he didn't really sell out, though. He wanted to make Green Lantern a good movie. He started in the Green Lantern movie. You ever seen Deadpool?
Yeah.
Makes fun of it constantly because it's a horrible movie.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
Wait, so, yeah, I guess that would be selling out, but you don't know if, like, he was, like, contracted to do, like...
We probably thought it was going to be a good movie,
too. So how's that selling out?
It's not selling out. Yeah. I'm just trying to say, like, I wonder
if,
like...
You just never know when a movie's going to be good.
I was trying to think of examples of, like, people who, like, maybe they sold out, like, they sold their idea to, like, a company, they made the movie, and it ended up being bad. You know, they regret it, right? Because that's when we said...
You regret it, but
when it's unnecessary, right? Yeah. When it's unnecessary. So did they make a movie that they thought was unnecessary? I'm trying to think of, like, real-life examples, and I don't know if we ever really get that, you know, admission of guilt from, like... people who did stuff. Like, Ryan Reynolds is ashamed of Green Lantern, like, George Clooney's ashamed of Batman and Robin, but at the time, they probably thought they were going to be good movies,
yeah,
right?
It's Batman and Robin. Like, I would want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
And then you realize during the production, like, this is going to be shitty.
Yeah.
You can't really back out.
You can't get out at that point, yeah. I guess
like,
it's not really selling out.
Like like I've heard actors all the time. Like you just do a whole bunch of movies and hope they're gonna be good.
Yeah.
Like you just get fortunate. Like, I mean, but it is your job to like know like the history of the director. Like read the script. You know, sometimes you can tell, but sometimes you just don't know. Like it can be a big hit, or just be a big flop, miss. You
I
know?
wonder how many movies, because I've always heard of this happening, and like I think Family Guy. I'm only mentioning Family Guy because they did an episode on it where like Brian, like he gets his script picked up by like some TV network, right? And they completely change it. You know,
It probably does.
I wonder how
happens.
often that happens because I never really hear about it happening. You know, the artist never really, the writer will never actually admit it. It seems like even if that happens,
Maybe they can't.
Maybe. I know a lot of times they do. Yeah, they do sign those and they can't talk about it. But
What's the NDA? Is it NDA? What is it called?
it might be like a non-disclosure agreement.
Yeah.
Could be. Yeah, could be. They can't talk about the specifics, but or they're not allowed to talk bad about a studio. A lot of times they sign contracts where they can't talk like, and they can't say anything bad about a studio or a movie after a certain amount of time. You know.
So one thing I wanted to mention was like, do you watch YouTube videos and like they have like a sponsorship?
Yeah.
Like it didn't used to be like that at all, and it started like a couple of years ago where people would just have like minute-long
I know what you're
commercials
talking about. Yeah.
because it's baked into the video. So I gotta skip that, and also the video that like Google puts on, like I add. And then I would hate that. I would never do that. Like if I make it big for YouTube, then I realized like they have to pay their bills. Like
exactly.
it's not like secure like on YouTube. Like and I was like I felt bad because like I would be like, oh, you suck for putting that minute long ad. But I would do that without question. Now I think it's selling out when you do a product that you don't believe in. I heard a lot of people say that. It's like Skillshare.
Point, yeah.
You ever heard of Skillshare? I see a lot of that. Skillshare is
Sounds familiar.
Skillshare is like a online classes you can do like different like photography, editing, and like some person that's like professional in it, they'll teach you online. Like I see a lot, and I would sponsor that. But like something that's like dumb and like I don't believe in. If I did that on my video just for the money, I would feel bad for it, but I understand why if somebody would do that for like if you're in a bad financial situation.
Or like, how else do you make your money? Like I do listen to this one podcast, Lore, which like does like history, and he dives into like historical lore. What?
History?
He dives into history, but it's always like creepy or supernatural kind of like it's like ghost stories, mystery stories. It's not.
You told me once that you don't like history.
I told you probably the other day when I was talking about it. Or maybe I was talking about.
You told me that you don't like history.
I really don't. This is the only kind of history I like because it's like usually about like macabre stuff. Like you'll talk about like how
history is macabre. You know, it's crazy.
Can I get to the point of why I brought this up? I know you're very triggered right now. I don't really like history that much. That's why I like this podcast though, because it's only like weird. It's like really weird stuff in history. It's like hard to explain, like mysteries or ghost stories. Lore is the podcast.
Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah, thank you. God, the point is, he does a lot of ads in that, and I always question how much he actually like uses the ad. Like one was for Casper, the mattress. He's like, I have a Casper, I put it in my thing, and I'm like, I wonder if he does, or like,
I
one was like a security thing.
It's
like it was like for that Ring security. He's like, I have the Ring security, and it keeps my home safe. I wonder like how much of it like is actually like you believe in it, like he believes in that, and I don't know. I feel like I could see myself totally selling out if I was like a YouTuber or if like this podcast started to get monetized. Man. Like
I would do that in that sense.
Yeah.
Now I would want to do stuff that I actually believe in.
I would too, ideally.
Or actually use a product.
But if a company's like, hey man, I got some moolah, what would you do? Do you think you would turn it down?
If it's something like that was not moral, like I feel like the company is not like what they do.
Yeah.
Like behind the scenes, I don't know.
Like if they
that's the only
own like sweatshops or something like that. Yeah.
You just don't know. Or they like they're a racist company or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that would be, like that's where I won't go. But if I don't like the product, I might still do it. Oh, no, I won't do it.
We would never.
No. Yeah.
But
I love my Charmin Ultra Max Essential Strong. Charmin.
Which has 12 mega rolls, which equal 48 regular rolls.
Yeah, mega rolls, and bears and all that.
But we hate selling out. But you know who also hates selling out? The Charmin bears.
Yeah, selling out of toilet paper.
The only thing they love is shitting and wiping their asses.
Charmin.
Charmin. For people who love shitting.
Anyways, that was the episode of selling out to the man.
To the man.
Yeah.
I guess I'm still not sure if I believe in selling out. I'm still on the fence. I would like to think that there are examples of people who sell out in the Black Eyed Peas and Ice Cube. Those are really good examples. You had the examples today. You were the example man. I had like one, and
it took me like 2 minutes. What are you doing? What's your time?
I don't know. I just, because I think I'm still on the fence about what is selling out. For me, it's like, I think a lot of times when people, like, they go big with a big company, sometimes I think they're just doing that to get their message, their good idea out to more people. So I don't really believe in it as hard as a lot of people do.
I don't really either anymore. Like I used to, but now I'm like, do you, man? Just do you.
Yeah.
It's just up to yourself. What do you believe in?
Yeah.
Don't sell out like what you think is selling.
Yeah. Stick to your principles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is that Google dick. Okay. Anyways, we gotta get out of here. See you next time. In the next dimension.
Yes.